Hey, I'm Ryan McRae. I'm just a guy who wants you to read more, and I talk about fantasy books, and I do a little newsletter. And today I'm talking about the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I am wearing the same shirt that I did in the previous video, and that's fine because I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear this shirt for the Sanderson thing because it's Hoyd. And he briefly shows up in the series. Well, anyway, this is a series by Brandon Sanderson. It's Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of the Ages, and Tor. These are really terrible covers. I just thought you'd like to know that. Like, this is about Vin, and she is living in this world that's almost very post-apocalyptic. Ash mounds shoot ash into the sky in this fantasy world. It's difficult for plants to grow. And there is the Lord Ruler. He took over a very long time ago, hundreds and hundreds of years, and he rules with an iron fist. And in this world, there are people who are misborn who can ingest metals, and with those metals have powers. They can push against other metals and either fly off, or they can pull on metals and be brought closer to them. They can push things away. They can influence people's emotions. They can see through. They can see future time. They can see someone's past. There's all sorts of things. So, Vin, this basic member of a thieves guild, discovers she is a mistborn who can use all of the metals, as opposed to people who can just use one, allomancers, so they can just use one type of metal. And she joins a crew to overthrow the Lord Ruler because he's bad. And so in the first book that, and this is, by the way, we got some spoilers here, so it's been out. There's 3 books, so you can kind of assume where this is kind of going. But in this first book, it talks about how they defeat the Lord Ruler, but how this crew does not understand what's going on. In the second book, Well of Ascension, they're trying to find the source of power that the Lord Ruler has, that Vin and her crew feel called to. But because they've killed the Lord Ruler, there's a lot of political upheaval that happens. And so she goes after the Well of Ascension and tries to take the power that is there to fix the world that the Lord Ruler kind of messed up. Again, accomplishes it, does it, but screws it up. The Well of Ascension was keeping entity, a god called Ruin, whose job it is to decay the world. And in Hero of Ages, she is trying to fix these mistakes, and everything they try to fix keeps getting worse and worse. And there's more political upheaval. She has risen in the ranks of who, she's no longer just a thief. She is married to the Emperor now. And they are trying to figure out what instructions the Lord Ruler left behind, if in fact he is ever killed. Fun fact, Ruin, the god she released, is able to, throughout time, change words on parchment to kind of shape lies and misinformation about what they should do. So only things written in metal are preserved. And along the way, they have Sazed, who he keeps knowledge. He wears metal. He's a Furomancer. Instead of an Allomancer, he's a Furomancer. And he's able to use these metals to store up either knowledge, maybe he can store up strength, maybe he can store up speed. And he is accompanying them on the way. And at the end of this, they are able to defeat Ruin, and they're also able to find his counterpart, Preservation, and heal the world. And I just think this is a fantastic series. It is a story about, it answers the question, what do we do with power? I just dropped something. What do we do with power? When it's given to us, do we use it to corrupt us? Because there's corrupt Allomancers, there's corrupt Mistborn. Do we hunt people down who are in power? Do we, how do we handle it? And that's the question that everybody has to answer in here. So, one of them rises to power quickly and becomes the emperor. Well, what does he do with his power? How does, when he's reading about how to be an emperor, as opposed to being an emperor? What do you do with these tough decisions? And Vin, everybody in this cast of characters has that decision to make. What do I do with this power? And some people make the right decisions. So they thought they're making the right decision by killing the Lord Ruler, and it was the right decision, but it was also, now things are worse. Hey, we want to get more power, the Wall of Ascension. Oh, we kind of messed that up. And then they have to make some sacrifices to undo all the damage that's been done. But again, this is a lot of misunderstanding. And how do we fix that? So in this series, everybody has a myriad of misunderstandings about what their powers do, what power means, who should they trust. And so, and then when you have this antagonist, Ruin, he can actually generate misunderstandings by changing the way words appear in the page. He can hear what you're saying. So if you go to maybe pull down a book that has a list of healing herbs, he has gone in and changed them so you're actually poisoning people. Like, that's the level of malevolence that that Ruin can have. I really enjoyed the series. I lagged in Well of Ascension, and then I lagged a little bit in the last one. But that was on me. I had a lot of stuff going on, as one does. But if you're looking for a really solid series that has a good magic system, but also it's politically heavy, so you know, eventually they have to make friends with enemies they've made. They actually have enemies that they were once friends with, and now they're enemies. There's just a lot of dense political play here. But again, it's about the exchange of power. So what do we do with the power we're given? And should we reach for more power, and what happens when we do? Yeah, I love this series. I think it ended very well. It was one of the most touching endings I've ever read in a book. And it's the first series I completed by Sanderson, because I'm still working on his chonky, the Stormlight Archive. Like, everyone's like, I can't wait for the next book. I'm like, I gotta read the fucking rest of them. So that's about all I have. I would highly recommend Mistborn, but it is about misunderstandings. So if you're looking to write something about misunderstandings or write something political, this is a good handbook in which to do it. But again, this series is a bit of a chonker. So that is about all I have. I'm Ryan McCrae. If you like what I'm saying, I do a newsletter. You can sign up for that down below. It's free. I just write about other ramblings that don't fit into YouTube content. If you'd like and subscribe, that'd be a big help to me. I'm trying to build this little tiny channel as I grow into being a writer. And my newsletter has some of my writing there, if that's your soup du jour. And that's about all I have. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you later. Bye.